That work there was the idea of the president, and then the agric ministry. We had 2 agric ministers from their time.
Yeah.
What did they do? Nothing. They sold fertilizers. They didn't have anything, but we have an agric minister, and who, if you look at the future, you look at the past and present, you can see that he's doing something which will benefit the nation. And then you tell me that I should look at this history, I should look at all these things that are played, and I should vote for MPP to come and do what? So Bakojo, you see, now one thing that gets me happy is that, like I was said, Honorable Donatus, the regional minister, is going to go down as one of the best regional ministers. Before I go there, I went to him and he said, look, this is something I see that when I revamp it, it is going to create more jobs, opportunities for the youth, because youth are crying, say, ye pay Juma. So as I'm talking to you, the regional minister has visited the place, and
it's the so benya brewa bra yebeko na chese yakwa enjoy the full video. In fact, we team so video we are pay ne muka krabi ana chese medin kan play amwati na medin kan so aka cha say ensema koson o Mahama'S de doson bibiri na ana koson na de bekoso bi anso no ye bebo na se ye beden nam chese media ne so na chese ya pay the best and the right content na de aba be som wa hase sere be ya wona wo hwe chese eye dwumedi enso ebehu ensema koso no wanyam enchiremu panso ye ne sent no ana me video we esomo ne yebeko ne akwa enjoy the full video akwa hwede aka no e de atoaso meso sansana no wadaroma se wunya subscribe from my YouTube channel ya na wodo nsabo subscribe button so ma muhia na turn on the bell notification icon no adoma na the video no eye chese subscribe button enchen no oboson e de mamia se be ya next time bia me drop video eto channel so an se be ka bi ententem so nsema ekoso wo Ghana de etoso se wanti we ntem ansan so antwen so an wa bra chese me di video ni tuma YouTube for the be ma na wa hwe ya na chese wonya news a ache abribia ne sent no meso so be nsa ma muhia comment section honom ye wodia meso so be boawura honom ko na kwa kenkan de nkofo atwere gu honom wonso efo wadwen kire eto comment section honom nkofo so be gibre no ba be kenkan na bibia so etimi I kama meso bi onso say obe like video we e de ama me hwe video na say like button na wo honom no oro nsa boso ebeboa ama no manyina etimi I kama meso so be ni nyina e de abam yenko ne yenko enjoy the rest of the video enfambra.
But Nkrumah knows, say, me ye where we are. If another, you can say, African country, say they copy us, then at the end of the day, our country, our continent, Africa, no, we will take care of our own affairs. So it became a threat to them, and then the CIA started planting their people in the in Ghana.
Okay,
that is where we got JB Dankwa. And there. Almost say Yenfa JB Dankwa enfant to a history respecting no. When he went to jail and then he came out of jail, he went to a US embassy.
Okay.
Adanya omodeneka. Ejuma ben and awiyama omodoka. The country, the continent that Africa was trying to break away from them, were trying to flee from their clutches. You rather went there say, "Oh, Jiusika, Ejuma ben or yeah." Have they asked themselves? Today you want me to respect him? These are the people who at the end of the day, they were Motiati and Nkrumah name. They didn't wanted him to work. So he became a threat to the Western and then also became a threat to the NLC, to the NLM, to the UP. They found him a threat. And then because I quite to say and free then it is no good. They started plotting until 1966, 24th February, when Nkrumah left Ghana on the 22nd February, they started this coup d'etat over and over again, and at the end of the day, gradually, Omutu Nkrumah there so Abrana Nkrumah was not in Ghana. Your friend phone so catch and say, catch them president and say you tuna there so. And then after they overthrew Nkrumah, mo de ma tuna there we are. Ebiana mo tunu no. They made Ghanaians, some of the Ghanaians understand and say Nkrumah was doing something which they can do it better. Into one so mo tu Nkrumah there we are no. People, a man for no one shut down senior master, ebo say they were happy, they painted Nkrumah black, they roamed the whole of Accra, rejoicing, say ya tu Nkrumah there so. Or hono be who say obi, Eddie, you can say pen, pencil, Eddie, a church Nkrumah, no matron, a whole lot of things. happened that night. And then at the end of the day, they were able to even push Nkrumah statue down. We talked about it. Every year, so. Now, after they did that, more than Kamunya or Mani ye, Amuri had the no more time Ghana koshe IMF. Adenya, they were telling the Western say, Yen timi embuye mine, into Mude Monji, Namoma rules and regulations to govern our country. That was the first time Ghana went to IMF.
Okay.
That meat faction now, Kwame Nkrumah, what did they do? They went to the meat faction, money na a party. And one night a code room, they went and killed all of them and then a party, a whole national party. We've been able to overthrow Kwame Nkrumah. These are the traitors and yes, yemfa kotoka, edi infanto, airport so. And His Excellency Nana Akuffo is fighting, say, yemfa no warfare. Now most of them were spies, no. Yemfa omudin, yemfa to a history book. These are the people we are talking about. Now, we've come back again. History has repeated itself. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama came to power 2012, 13, 14, 15. And I said, no, there was a vision. Let me also copy that vision. Because my party, we came out of revolution. So what did he do? He went to North and then tried to put up the SADA. After putting up the SADA, what was the idea? The idea was, hey, I go to North. You can't confirm. We have it more.
Oh, okay.
Now we having them confirm, no. Yeah, no crampon. We don't. Yeah, we need to say the South. Yeah, we are confirmed. So what did he do? He tried to establish the SADA so that at the end of the day, we will have a national factory. It will produce that one. Say there will be hatchery, there will be broilers, and then there will be people who may take care of those things.
Okay.
And at the end of the day, it will create an economic development for the northerners, and then it will stop most of the northerners from walking all the way from north to the south work. Because then youth in the Bay Juma, young crani pan free baby. Omo start so omo ye adwuma, then what do do? Say mo be hache mwa no, say mo be ku omo, say mba totoare, so mba ne dey end esamoa. Then at the end of the day, south na mo be ba no, say mo the life na sa na ebo, say mo ku omo aye omo nam na mo de abo, then it will be between the north and the south.
Yeah.
However, they are going to handle their economic affairs, but there will be national rules governing it. So that at the end of the day, enya day, enko say they were in opposition. And then they went and then picked some journalists. I can't say Brian. Manase Azuri. He went there. And he went only you can't say he went and then had a conversation with a gate man. This is where I stopped respecting him. And then Obeka you say confirm to Burkina. Knowing very well say as at then no na ye nyamfa abo bia mesi ho. Not the factory you can say na adena mo sinu krampo no munya nwie. And then at the end of the day say we say yes confirm to definitely there should be evidence say anya bia abo wo honom, because ontimi kan try me say ye dey confirm be go honom 2 weeks ne feda eni ho onko can say there's no fees, and I said there's no feed of that I confirm no. There should be evidence.
Yeah.
You didn't bring us evidence. You only brought us a mouthpiece. Say, Moko and Yesen confirm not to Burkina, and then it became a whole lot of scandal in this country. MPP for so, and all because as at then, the social media was not working like that. We all depended on the traditional media. If Anka now social media, that thing wouldn't have happened. Now. After His Excellency John Dramani Mahama left power, 2017, Omoba power, beside I say Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia say almost 300 tricycles. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama gathered there. Say farmers no mabe ejuma no. So tricycles na edebe mama ejuma. Beside Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia say we. They went and brought all those tricycles from the north to the south, and a year just as they did to you can say the meat factory. After they gained power, they almost the money in our party. This is the footprint of MPP. These are the MPP we talk about, and these are the nation records we talk about. And we thank God, say at the end of the day, we understand history. We are going to make sure, say history will keep playing in our mind, because history is a living thing. This is the MPP, and then today. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama Sambabio, and they went to bring something called Nkokonketenkete. You go to Bechem, they are building a factory. They are building a factory that at the end of the day, and there will be a cold room there. There will be somewhere that they'll slaughter them. They'll put them in the cold room. They'll process it. And at the end of the day, even M1 feed, and as a fertilizer, they are going to use the remains of some one fertilizer. They are farmers. You want to tell me, say, I should look at MPP. They are past Abakosem, then I should go and vote for them again. When we have an agric minister who is hell-bent and ready to make sure, say, farmers will enjoy what farmers are supposed to enjoy. That work there was the idea of the president, and then the agric ministry. We had 2 agric ministers from their time.
Yeah.
What did they do? Nothing. They sold fertilizers. They didn't have anything, but we have an agric minister, and who, if you look at the future, you look at the past and present, you can see that he's doing something which will benefit the nation. And then you tell me that I should look at this history, I should look at all these things that are played, then I should vote for MPP to come and do what? So, Bakojo, you see, now, one thing that gets me happy is that, like I was said, Honorable Donatus, the regional minister is going to go down as one of the best regional ministers. Before I go there, I went to him and he said, look, this is something I see that when I revamp it, it is going to create more jobs, opportunities for the youth, because youth are crying, say, ye pay Juma. So as I'm talking to you, the regional minister has visited the place, and even when we went there, there was someone, they came with drones. They entered inside the inner rooms, the inner courts, and then they checked everything. And then very soon, they are going to revamp that and bring back the legacy of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. And then make sure, say, at the end of the day, the man has lived a life. And then no matter what, they only killed him, but the spirit and the zeal of Nkrumah still remains. So we can't look up these things and then give power to MPP again. Never. If they give power to MPP, Bechem, you can't say, go get a faction on my party.
Oh,
because it's their track record. Everything that is playing in MPP is Adia, SCP, and it is repeating itself. That is them. They don't want any development. And then, as I said, and then you can IMF, they are not chap. Now, if you talk about IMF in Ghana here, Obiya Joniko see John Mahama. Obiya Joniko see why? Because it was John Mahama as a president or IMF or consulting in Akuffo. Say, I want to go to IMF. Stakeholders, CEOs, I want to go. What was your thinking? What John is saying?
I think me check here. 1996 was the first time I Ghana acquired IMF.
That was after they overthrew Kwame Nkrumah.
Okay,
they overthrew him.
Yeah, 1996.
Yes.
And Ghana acquired first IMF.
They overthrew Kwame Nkrumah 24th February 1966. And 1996, I'm not time Ghana acquired IMF. You get it? So that is them. That is what they can do best. And then you see, sometimes I ask them, Yeka etutrasem wo mahimua. They keep pointing fingers at NDC. And I ask them, say, why? Almost say J.J. Rawlings. When you talk about coup d'etat in this Ghana, everybody remembers J.J. Rawlings. But I tell them, and I'll keep telling them, Yeka coup d'etat wo my way mua. Yeka politics with blasting e wo my way mua. The kotoka they are trying to tell us, airport so he's one of them. Yeka politics coup d'etat with blasting. Now, after Nkrumah became president, ended up coup d'etat or my way. It is the NLC, National Liberation Council. And who are the National Liberation Council? The modern day MPP. And your monananom, and I from NLC. They started from UGCC, they came to NLM, they came to UP. You see, these are them. And after they overthrew Kwame Nkrumah, they left chaos. 1966 a year coup, they left chaos. 1969 there was coup d'etat. 1979 there was coup d'etat. 1981, and you ask yourself, the Rawlings not here to trade in a year then or be a coup d'etat or my way. Rawlings came to do a coup d'etat because he realized, say, or minor NLC for be a coup d'etat, they've dismantled everything.
The way I say ube saving was
yes, almost saying more. Almost Johnny in such a way say, me so be a coup d'etat. Na se me show di say ade a na me pese wo ye ma me no wonya bon say ade be chana so soro ya coup d'etat. That is Ghana they left. So that is why every 3 years there were coup d'etat. If you check, apart from the after Ghana got into the Fourth Republic, all the republic were 3 years. That was how it is. They had their coup d'etat 1966, 1969, 1971. You see how it was playing until Rawlings came back 1981. The 1971 actually na akabe was it 3 months to elections. And Rawlings bear Sakunu for a reason. And when Rawlings did the coup d'etat 1979, he didn't let the elections backslide. They still organized elections, and that was when a MPP for they were telling you kind of saying Ghana for say Liman now all your elections, NDC for AFR, that was PFP. Edene ba no I forgotten PMP. Edene ba say ombejina elections. Rawlings nipa, and a Rawlings go for free Nigeria. This was what they were telling Ghanaians. And then when that tribalism didn't work, they came back and said Liman ebe ye president obere ye kind of saying besi e dia say Flagstaff House. So omono tribal politics they didn't started it today. Jandam almost starting that. When they had elections and then there was a rerun. 1979 election had a rerun. Nearby still now Liman won the elections. Liman win elections win. Do you know what they did? Nkrofo we won konsade e yadea paka omo number 1. They went to Liman, made sure say they are able to infiltrate Liman, and then made Liman understand say, you see, J.J. Rawlings when he was handing over power to Liman, he told Liman say, Liman, eye bibinti, ena me ye cool no, man tenaso. I am not an economist. Me a sojeni. I don't handle economic matters. But you are an economist.
Okay.
You know who the people who can come together and then make Ghana's economy better. That is why we are putting you there, and then we are making sure say while we need elections not legitimately, I am not taking it, I am giving it to you. But hey, I am warning you. Semi-continentally, na say the predecessors are the couldn't elections. No? If you are repeating those mistakes again, I will come back for you. Okay, just to let Liman know say, and yes, I know who never, and yes, I 10 gram inti, nembo a bibinti. When they handed over power to Liman, these people went and told Liman, hey, oh, Papa Penyum na oma akolawe, Emma or others. Asem na okan wabua o prepare no wasabe tu. Inti hwe ye won. Rawlings have blastained. That is what they painted Rawlings to Liman. And then you see, after Omoye they went infiltrated, and they got to Rawlings. Share. So okay, so to Liman. They only imagine Liman are far on. That is why the MPP, they are political party of gossipers. As some MPP, they can't keep it. You can't, idea where you can, you say, as some way you can, or them, I anchor, ya obwa. Omumpie na asem na mama obi a message kura kan wa montena da. So that is them. They started way back, not now. And at the end of the day, Liman got angry and that's how they are sure mine so. And then he left it. And then he couldn't control the executives. Obi aye the oil up. And then it became more and more and more. And Rawlings said, no, this is not the reason. He came back again and then took power from Liman. And when he took power from Liman, he said, this time the minimum soldier for will do the exceptional. So J.J. Rawlings started say sanet here, the men for mining show Biansem until someone who say mine ye. And look, when J.J. Rawlings became the statesman, the head of state, Akuffo Modam, time can you say, Papa, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah see Akuffo Modam. Omoka Chiren asked at that time, they say, Ghana don't need it. Or say Sika. They did demonstration. We did ye can say, Omoko crossing echo chira omo say, Mo who say Kwame Nkrumah say Sika. Mo who the odis can ye. And Fafa so be just as when His Excellency John Dramani Mahama was talking to people, say, should we go to IMF? Instead of them to come and support the president, you saw Baumia, Dr. Mahmoud Baumia in schools, in schools, in marketplaces, and were writing tantrums in the system, telling people say Mahama'S real minor manaka do be no de IMF, forgetting say mon na nanom na de IMF. You see, when Nkrumah was doing, was building, they were destroying. When John Mahama came, he was building, they were destroying. And at the end of the day, when Rawlings came to power, some of the villages were not having lights on who be that. It was J.J. Rawlings who was able to extend light to most of the villages. It was J.J. Rawlings who was able to extend light into the various villages. And then, at the end of the day, water and the necessary needs, J.J. Rawlings was the one who was able to do send them until he had to, because as at that time, because your country has come into a coup d'etat era, no country, not even an African country, was ready to do what? Was ready to help J.J. Rawlings. So the only thing J.J. could do was to do what? Bring the nation back to a constitutional order. And J.J. to train here. And bet na them na bachelor constitution book e dia breye you can't me nya ne foko untimi nya ne hwe because time Akuffo Addo ni nananom no wafa no mo ebetu Nkrumah de so no when they were doing their constitutional review omo de bibi share hon man na e friend ceremonial president. It was a clause in the constitution, and that was when Buzia was the president, and then the Akuffo Addo's father was a ceremonial president. What do you mean by a ceremonial president? Or no on cabinet for development more parties on neko a year on neko. I can say yeah hijet and neko nuntin and banba your catcher say my father was a ceremonial president, even though we didn't have anything called ceremonial president, but I am a ceremonial president. And Omujaya can Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia on the field. Akuffo Addo was attending funerals, he was attending parties, he was the one who was hiring jets, he was doing a whole lot. Yet so on my way when a black American they organized a funeral in Ghana for that man. Election 2020, Nipa watching Ghanaians born in Ghana, raised up in Ghana, they died. This president said nothing.
Yes, so many
for. You see, this is the repetition of MPP I'm always talking about. So you want me to look at this history which is plain in the MPP, and I should go and vote for MPP. Said in the hand.
Now, I'm back to the meat factory.
Yeah.
State a woman as Ghana near obeda sorry na it be na say unemployment rate kosoro yesi na wo hwe say this project and Nkrumah yan kase by now ejana na so anke bia kenenka discussion is different no.
Yes.
Who feel say?
For me, I really felt bad. I felt bad because so these things have been there for years. Why did the president Omabako at then no man for Mosanka? That was a question, and it's a question we'll keep asking until we get answers. At the inti no man for Majin Ankoho. Not only MPP, NDC Abako, at then no man for Mansanka. JJ Abako, at then one fan Sanka. His Excellency I can't say Professor Atamos Aba, at the intra. Every before the men come ask me come put even if there's chance, don't do it. John Mahama'S. Why? But now I was happy again because the regional minister has took it upon himself say he is going to make sure say they revamp that factory. So in as much as I felt bad, no, I felt good that the regional minister or no, the John Mahama administration, or see how you. So if Sokasa obeya, then definitely he's going to do it. And make us say, Upper Eastern come and tell me because the regional minister you've got is nobody to joke with.
But don't you think they need new factory instead of going to work on this one? Because your factory be you're old. So I say, oh, ye as at the bar. One share the cost no ebetina building new one. So if this one no say the cost no was sort of change, say yeah. Do you think?
I think the minister wouldn't just get up and say I'm going to revamp.
Oh, okay.
At least wire those checks. He has done that, and then that is also important because it is protecting the legacy of a great man.
Okay.
You get it? It is protecting the legacy of a great man and putting some people into shame. So I support they should revamp it. In as much as whatever, they should revamp that factory and then make it a legacy, and then send a signal to the IMF, like they should send a signal to the Western. We have not forgotten Nkrumah yet. The African countries, we will come together and unite, and one day the white man will get up and they will say, Africa, come and we'll see it. Then they will know that we've broken chains. We are no more under them again. So for me, I prefer the revamping of the Nkrumah's factory. I prefer yes, I prefer revamping it. One, it is going to, the factory is very soon, and it is a building and yes, after they are going to start from scratch. It is a building which is there, and I don't think that building which is there, so spend this as the new one. That revamping it is going to cost more than the new one. It is not going to cost because everything is there.
Okay.
And then can you believe, say, up to now there are people who are still guarding the building. Yes, there are people are almost share building also. There's security there.
Paid by the state.
Yes, there's security there. But I'm catch me say initially no one person because they said they didn't know why I was coming to do it, and then they weren't giving me chance until I explained why we want it to be revamped. And that is when they gave me quite say mincha. And as all you'll be away new no money to Ura they'll come to you because they know that you are not from that place. To Ura they'll come to you. There are people who are still working there, who are still guarding the building. So a being so they are almost locked up, but it is not in the building. And only building assassinate them so kakaka. So Nkrofo bi so atwa some place almost somewhere there. But the building itself, no building they had staff bungalow, they had a whole administration bungalow. BBA it's a complete factory on its own. So I prefer the revamp that factory.
Say we no pay the whole kind, we share the chain na air from Upper East to Takoradi to Kumasi. Yes. So they meant this way no
then automatically the Takoradi will start.
Then
Kumasi. Before Mahama'S left power, Kumasi was operational.
Yeah, I think it's Kumasi here.
Yes, most of the government workers na here on free. So automatically when that place revamp, we are expecting Takoradi regional minister to also start. Then they will connect themselves, and at the end of the day, Kumasi will also kickstart, so that we'll still get that chain. Because this is what Nkrumah wanted. But a nipa binti among pese or mine be. But today the media is back, and some of us now these things they don't teach in the schools.
Okay.
They've taken it off. And then these are the things we are going to keep saying. The last time I picked a class, was it a class 4, class 5 book? I think I have the picture. And then when I was looking into the book, I went to where is this the lower classes, and then I saw something that because na akwani amana homework me sister ba and all the buy to make sure I didn't say me catch any papa say if I am going to answer these questions according to history akwani no benya 0 and I say aden na am say that is the fact. If I'm going to answer them according to history obenya 0 because they stated something like who gave the name Ghana to Gold Coast, and there was the youth na Edimbi or Nkrumah was not. I think Nkrumah was there though, and I know and then JB Dankwa was there, and Oko back to the note now. The note is indicating that JB Dankwa proposed the name Ghana.
Okay.
So if I am going to tell you the history, na some catch that and say Chiro Kwame Nkrumah or the Kwame making it wrong
because the current history
yes,
is different.
It's telling us say JB Dankwa. See. JB Dankwa proposed Akan land when they were going to change Gold Coast into another name. JB Dankwa proposed Akan land. Let me tell me Akan. Let me afrafrenio. Let me can go in it. They are Dagatis. Yeah, Akan. Akan is for some particular people. And to say, oh, I catch them and say, Dini Akan land. We've rejected it. And at the end of the day, we've settled on a name. Why should you tell me say that credit should be given to JB Dankwa? When they overthrew Kwame Nkrumah in 1966, and them yes, and then the former Speaker of Parliament, Honorable Michael Kwe, is not different. Or Nini Edubu Amuno Mujis Ejumano. They made sure say they changed our history. But in fact, we are here and we are going to make sure say the history that we know, we will bring it back. Because someone to me met say, and at the end, because they changed it to suit their group. All because there was no internet.
But don't you think these factories, came because of amount for being so selfish interest and almost personal gains? Because now you were Akuffo, they are in charge of say or more aircraft. Nurses from Pabua, security services and on Pabua or monocraba. So if this factory this factory now your Ghana, we have a member of parliament on a clan koko edeba. And you know what them who getting baba ima ubia tinya and cocoa. Maybe we finish on bono. And this is the case whereby people think about themselves more than Ghana.
You are talking about modern day Ghana. You are talking about modern Asimo. I am talking about
No, I'm talking about
yes, I understand.
the entire government.
The issue is, if the government that overthrew Kwame Nkrumah, if they have stood to their ground, na say adieni tintima, you can't do foko. What you say? Ka adieni tintimi ya, ka wuntimi nyeshe, you can't do anything.
Okay.
So the fault is from the base. The fault is from the beginning. That is where everything started. They say they okay. Kawunyini now before so be a businessman. Na say sadie no wo ma. You go behind the government and tell the government to say me person mugu sadie no. It can happen. But it is the base that was base na njina here. If the foundation is not correct, esro na be say. So that is the reason. That is the so I will always blame the base, the foundation of the thing, and they are the problem. We won't shift it to anybody. They are the problem. So we are expecting, say, at the end of the day, if they start operational in that ring, then what sort of the government and they say, maybe me cramp up one, maybe me crying, channel or cramp up one back to that place.
Because when I heard Addo saying one district, one factory, that is idea me can say one. It pushes me for me to vote for Nana Akuffo. Fight against corruption and also one district, one factory. Free SHS wasn't part of the reason why I voted for Nana. No, but one district, one factory, and can I say fight against corruption. So now me thoughts and me say when I didn't call a Tonsu shoe factory.
Okay, yeah.
It doesn't mean say if you are coming to have one district, one factory there, then you are going to have enough money to
revamp,
build old factories, back to life.
And when they can, what did they do? Casapreco, one district, one factory.
After they say Casapreco, they are communiska, the farms, way,
so it is the base. It's the base. They destroyed everything at the base, and you were expecting somebody. Let's just look at this just ended horror movie. I share the 8 years.
Yeah, horror movie.
Now the old say one maybe one. 8 years from 2017.
Foreign movies.
From 2017, Ghana, from 2017 to 2024, a horror movie. In Ghana,
National Theatre.
The whole nation, we were watching horror movie day in, day out.
TV
station, I can't say MPP station.
Are you talking about?
I'm talking about the government. Yes, the government is
a horror movie.
Now the only say, "I'm make anchor."
Na gushia o man.
Now the only na gushia ni man ka 2020 elections ke kunipa.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yes, we dey you apocalypse.
Na eja ko na you. Na o ye villain hero no. Na but me na director. Say on handle economy, on na director. And welfare So you see, you use 8 years so much about say oh man. No be about 1 year.